Charlatan. And Bon. Welcome to the 20th Annual IDRA La Semana del Niño Parent Institute. Bienvenidos a la 20ª edición anual de la Semana del Niño Instituto de Padres de IDRA. The co-sponsors of the Institute are IDRA's Texas Education Café, funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, our EAC South Equity Center, and Reenergize. Our special partners are the National Latino Children's Institute and HIPPY, Home Instruction for Parents of Preschool Youngsters. Los copatrocinadores del instituto son el nuevo Texas Café de Educación de IDRA, financiado por la Fundación Kellogg, nuestro Centro de Equidad, EAC South y Reenergize. Nuestros socios especiales son el Instituto Nacional de Niños Latinos y HIPPY, Instrucción en el Hogar para Padres de Niños en Edad Preescolar. Our Education Café is expanded this year across the state to El Paso, Houston, and San Antonio, and they are here to participate. In fact, they have a session that they were told they're going to have a conversation at 9:30 about starting their projects. From the successful development of these the comunitarios in the lower Rio Grande Valley, we are now expanding the model to other parts of the state and other parts of the country. Educación Café empezó hace muchos años en el Valle y ahorita que está fundado por la Fundación Kellogg, se desparramó a Houston, El Paso y San Antonio, y van a tener una presentación ellos de grupo. Nos encantaría que les mandaran a la gente a través de las redes sociales que ustedes están aquí. We'd love if you'd let people know you're here with social media. Share some pictures and share your thoughts, interesting things you learn, and questions you have on Twitter or Facebook or other social media. Please use the hashtags #FamEngage and IDRAEDU. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The links are in your program. Los enlaces están en el programa para la red del Internet. We'll be taking group photos in the garden before the end of the conference today. So before you go, be sure you gather your group into the garden, and we'll post the pictures on our Flickr page, and you'll be able to download the images for those of you that want those group pictures. Estaremos tomando fotos de grupo justo cuando terminemos hoy. Así que antes de irse, asegúrense que vayan al jardín a que les tomen foto de grupo, y eso va a estar en la página del internet donde pueden conectar con esas fotos. At each table, there's some orange and blue sheets. We're asking you to share your dreams for children and about their college future. Hay unas hojas naranja y verde en las mesas, naranja y azul. Les pedimos que compartan sus sueños para los niños y sobre su futuro universitario. Déjenlos en la mesa porque los vamos a colectar para colectar sus opiniones. In your packets, you have little cards for the exhibitors. This is your ticket to get a door prize after lunch. So the exhibit room is down the hall when we change between sessions, and then right after lunch, you'll have time to go and visit the exhibits. Every visitor you exhibit will check off on your card. You'll have your name on the other side of it, and we'll pick from those cards the door prizes, and they'll be on a list in that room after lunch. So those of you that are interested in the door prizes, in any case, visit our exhibitors, please. En sus paquetes tienen una pequeña tarjeta con los que están exponiendo sus materiales en el cuarto de exposiciones. Use este boleto para el sorteo de premio. Entonces, si escriben su nombre en la tarjeta y visitan cada exhibit, entonces los vamos a colectar, y después de la comida va a haber una lista de los que ganaron un premio. Va a haber premios muy buenos de la conferencia. Voy a Our app is not working. Nuestra app está ahorita, no está funcionando muy bien. We're hoping it gets to work before as the conference proceeds. Estamos teniendo problemas con la conexión con el app que está en el programa. Voy a repasar el programa. I'm going to go over the program very quickly, just so you know what's happening. A las 9:30, at 9:30, the sessions will start. Las sesiones van a haber 7 en cada round, 7 sesiones. 3 en estos cuartos. We're going to have walls here. Van a haber paredes en este cuarto para separar entre las 3 sesiones. Y hay 4 más cuartos aquí en el mismo salón donde están las otras presentaciones. Quiero anotar, por ejemplo, que las sesiones en este cuarto están en vivo. We are live streaming the sessions in this room. So we're going to have 3 live stream sessions here. The first one is the HIPPY presentation. The second one is the National Latino Children's Institute will be presenting here about el Día de los Niños. And then the third one is going to be coming in from the Valley. Some parents from South Texas will be presenting about their work in family leadership and education café. So eso va a ser aquí en este cuarto. También tenemos presentando al mismo tiempo en otros cuartos un grupo que vino de jóvenes que son totalmente biletrados. We have some fully biliterate students and a parent and their staff. They'll be presenting in one of the rooms about their program. And we will also have Ms. Patricia Stout, who was president of the Hispanic Chamber, and she will be presenting on investing in education fuels the economy and has a publication there. We will have a group that has just started organizing a few years ago called Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, abuelitos que están criando a sus nietos, y van a tener una presentación muy interesante también. Y vamos a tener Pre-K for SA, la de San Antonio, que va a estar presentando. We're going to have that presentation. In the next round, we're going to have, as I said, a live stream session here by Rebecca Barrera on their project del Día de los Niños. David's Law Stop Bullying, la ley de David del acoso en el Internet. We're going to have the Coca-Cola Valley Youth students presenting. It's a cross-age tutoring program here in San Antonio. We're going to have a school board member presenting about school board members' responsibilities. So va a haber una variedad de presentaciones. Escojan a dónde ir. Every session is 15 minutes in length. Son 50 minutos y tienen 10 minutos para cambiar de cuarto. Okay. La tercera tanda empieza a las 11:30 y va hasta las 12:20. Between 11:30 and 12:20, and we're going to have the last round. Then you're going to have 40 minutes between then and lunch, because we want to give you time to take pictures and give you time to go to the exhibit hall so you get your names in for the door prize. When we have lunch, it starts at 12:45, and it'll be where breakfast is served. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have a press briefing here. De 1 a las 2, while you're still eating, we're going to have a press briefing. Vamos a tener la prensa aquí y vamos a celebrar varias cosas. Vamos a tener a Rosy Castro, la madre de los gemelos Castro, que va a hablar. La presidenta de mi organización, our president, who is retiring at the end of this year, Dr. María del Refugio Robledo Montesel Cuca, will be presenting and introducing Rosie. We're going to have some students. And then the National Latino Children's Institute will have a presentation at the briefing about el Día de los Niños y cómo lo podemos celebrar. So that is pretty much the program. Right now, we're going to end this session. Vamos a acabar esta sesión y darles tiempo que busquen sus cuartos. Go find your rooms. If there are presenters here that still don't know where they're supposed to be, let me know up here. If there are some volunteers that I haven't talked to, please come up. But right now, then, we're going to have some interviews going on the live streaming, and we're closing the general session to give enough time to set up in the other rooms. Gracias. Thank you for being here. PSJ. Where do they stand? Where do you want me to stand? I'm not on camera.
You can be not on camera if you want.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay. Okay, then go back there.
Make sure you block traffic. Block traffic.
Okay. Okay. Aurelia, you tell me who you're with?
Could you give us your names, please?
Karen Jimenez.
Antonio Martinez.
And they represent a group of students from the Pharr-San Alamo School District who are graduating fully biliterate. So, Karen, what are the benefits of being fully biliterate?
Well, can I hold it?
Hold it like an ice cream cone.
Okay. Well, I come from Mexico, so being able to learn both languages at the same time and also just like be able to fully engage with both communities is really important. And I know eventually I'm going to use it in the world-class workforce because now people are starting to speak more than one language.
Same question. All right. So I come from Mexico. My first language is Spanish. So, you know, by graduating fully biliterate, it helped me learn English very quick pace. And you know, it also helped me academically because I wasn't always the greatest student, but once I started to learn both languages at the same time, it enhanced my academic ability very significantly, especially since I'm going to sciences. So knowing both languages, it really helped me a lot.
I want each of you to tell us what classes that are content classes in high school you've taken in Spanish.
Well, I have taken physics, anatomy, and physiology, which is an extremely hard class to take in English and Spanish. I also taken world history and computer programming.
Well, I took chemistry in both languages, and it helped me a lot because many of the words that you learn in chemistry were derived from Latin. So the most similar language to Latin is Spanish, and just being able to make that connection from Latin to Spanish, you were able to make the connection from Spanish to English, and it just helped you process everything at a quicker pace, and just.
Aside from taking the classes in Spanish, how are you set up for college? Do you have dual credit? How are you set up? What are you going to do?
Well, we're actually not only dual language students, but we're taking dual language classes, which means that both of us, we're going to be graduating with our associate's degree from our community college on.
What's your degree in?
Oh, I'm doing interdisciplinary study with a focus on business.
Well, I'll be graduating with an associate's in biology, and once I get into college, I'm planning to get a major in biology, and if possible, a major in Spanish as well.
What have been some of the challenges for you in being biliterate?
Well, I came here knowing very little English, so at first it's really hard to be taking dual language courses in which sometimes you don't know what the English part of it, it's actually like meaning, but in order to be in the dual language program, you're learning both things in the same language, so it's easier for you to start learning it.
Just knowing Spanish for me was a little bit hard because the standardized testing is in English, so just knowing Spanish, you kind of can't understand the questions until you fully learn English. And it was the language barrier at first, but I was able to overcome that barrier once I started to learn both languages.
Students, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You made it, sir.
Folks like that.
Mr. Wooton, would you tell us a little bit about your military background first?
Oh, you bet. You bet. So I have about 3 decades of experience in the United States Air Force, and during that time did a lot of different things. But the last 7 years or so, I focused extensively on cybersecurity, information technology, and those kinds of issues, running networks and then defending networks. And as you know, that has become one of the most critical parts of our country today. And as I left that job a couple of years ago and transitioned into the civilian sector, it was apparent to me, as well as all of my colleagues, that of all the issues that we had in terms of technology, it was education that was the key. And I think so since then, that's been a focus for me. It's something that we don't think about very often, you know, when we think of technological issues and concerns with cybersecurity, that we're talking stuff that can be solved with technology. And that goes about this far, but the reality is it's a people issue. It's about getting our folks to understand that, and we saw that again and again. I saw that when I worked with folks and young folks that came into the Air Force and that I had the chance to work with. How do we get them to solve the problems of our time from a national security issue, from an economic issue, and from a general national issue? So that really became my focus in the Air Force as I concluded my career working in those areas.
What is the presentation you're going to make today?
So I'll talk a little bit about the issue at hand with regard to technology and education, and especially with a focus on you know, what can parents do, what can educators do. But I'm particularly excited to present a little bit about what an organization that I'm a part of here in San Antonio is doing called Youth Code Jam.
And what does Youth Code Jam do?
In essence, we teach kids how to code. But we make it so that it's fun. We make it so that they learn when they're not even realizing they're learning about it. We tie them together with their parents so the parents get a part of an understanding of what they're doing. We bring teachers in, and we have volunteers who have this background with an eye towards trying to get folks, young kids, to understand the basics of how their computers work, how their cell phones work, their iPads, all of these things that they think they understand as cyber natives, and they use them extensively. But the reality is we want to get it to where they understand them beyond that, and that they can be a part of the solution as we grow this national need of folks who can understand computer science from the basics of coding all the way up to advanced capabilities. It's like a language, and we want to teach them that language.
What's the age span of the kids in your project?
From 7 to 17.
Wow. About how many are participating right now?
So this year we've had extensive growth. In 2017 we had 6,000 kids go through the program. So we have had a massive amount of growth in San Antonio, and we're excited. We think that we're going to go even beyond that this year.
How many adult volunteers do you have?
We have over 150 right now. I'm so excited about Youth Code Jam. It's awesome. And of course we have teachers that are a part, and that we also do teacher classes for certification. It is citywide. It's actually countywide, I would say. And we are actually doing some expansion into the Austin area, and we hope that we'll expand even beyond that throughout the state, and who knows after that, but extensively throughout San Antonio.
Well, retired General Wooton, we're glad you're with us.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Patricia Stout, who do you represent today?
Well, today I represent, I believe, myself as an entrepreneur, but I'm past president of the Mexican Entrepreneurs Association, I'm past chairman of the Hispanic Chamber, and I'm past president of the National Association of Women Business Owners. So if you think about that, you think I'm all about business, but the truth of it is that I'm representing entrepreneurs that have a great need for educated, employees to be hired for our companies, and that's how it started with Educate First.
Your work ended up in actually 2 publications. What were those?
The first year of the first publication was 2014, when I asked a very good friend of mine, John Gonzalez, to find out what was happening with the workforce in San Antonio and in the state. And then he got together with people with economic development and educators and investigators and statistical people that took us to a very interesting place. We realized that we were not educating our children, and that we were not educating them from an early stage, like 3 years old, so that they could go to high school and then into college, and then be able to pursue careers that would be of essence, I would say, so that they would grow the economy. Because when somebody is educated and has a job, they will buy a car, they will rent a home, they will use restaurants, and et cetera, et cetera. They will pay more taxes to the state. So it's a circle. You know, you start educating children, and the circle, you know, takes you to a prosper city, a prosperous state, and a happier community.
So, what is the title of the paper?
The second paper is Educate First, with a dollar on the S, because educating means providing education for people to gain great jobs, supporting our economy, and therefore we felt that this paper would be this is the second paper that I'm going to present, is the culmination of all the information that we gather, you know, to create this momentum for people to understand if we don't educate, we're not going there where we need to be.
So you give data, but what are the recommendations you make?
The recommendations that we have in the paper is to start early, at early as 3, educating the children, math, STEM, etc. You know, give your children a chance. Children can learn a lot and fast. Give them the opportunity. We need to find places where they need to go to learn. We find universities that will, you know, understand their needs. Also, understand that there's a lot of children that speak Spanish and that are just trying to get into the English. But I'm going to tell you, yo hablo español and I speak English, and that has opened so many doors. So we need to respect the first native language and then move from then on, because when you learn languages, you learn faster.
¿Por qué es importante?
Es muy importante porque sabiendo otro idioma crean muchas oportunidades de trabajo. Eso me pasó a mí cuando vine a San Antonio. Yo hablaba inglés, español y francés. Entonces, the doors were open. I learned that by speaking 3 languages, I was different and my opportunities were greater. I came from Mexico City in '74, and I got a job within 1 week. Why? Because of the languages.
What is your actual business that you run?
I own one of the largest government travel service providers, the Alamo Travel Group. I have owned that company by myself since 1990. We were top 5,000 corporations of America. We were featured in Forbes magazine 2 years ago because of the work that we have done.
Muchas gracias. Buena suerte con tu presentación.
Gracias.
step stool. No, that's what I wear heels. I was like, I wear heels.
At the 6?
6.
I think that's when you start.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how do we gotta turn those on?
I think it's
they're already
on. Oh, she's taking a photo. Hello.
She can't see.
Oh, she's taking a photo.
I'm like,
Come
get
this
a
way.
chair.
Damas y caballeros, muy buenos días. Good morning to everyone. Okay. Sorry, this is a live stream. I have to get the mic, even though they don't know that I'm a teacher and I have a good voice already. Good morning, good morning. We're glad to see all of you here. I am Frances Guzman, and I am assisting with the parent conference for IDRA. And I know a little bit about this conference because I used to be a part of IDRA staff. Pero me da mucho gusto que estén aquí con nosotros. La presentación que tenemos hoy es algo muy, muy emocionante y a la vez muy interesante. The session that we have today comes from the HIPPY program, the Home Instruction for Children of Preschool Age. And we have 3 presenters with us. They are, and I wrote it down. If I can get organized here. We have with us Ms. Jessica Garcia. If you'll wave, Jessica, thank you. We also have Ms. Jenny Guerrero. And then we also have with us Mr. Teri Todd.
Oh, Miss.
Ms., excuse me, yes. Excuse me, it's mine. I was not looking at everything here.
It's okay.
We also have Ms. Denise Trewick and Ms. Genevieve Chavarria, who are with the HIPPY program. And we have a local program here in San Antonio that is implementing the HIPPY model, so you're going to get to hear a lot about that here. And so without any further ado, we do welcome our presenters here, and then I'll be the one that's going to keep the clock. Thank you.
Thank you. I need you. You're going to need to interpret for me for just a moment.
Oh, certainly.
Good morning. I'm Teri Todd from the National Office at HIPPY USA. I happen to be in town because we are hosting our National Leadership Conference starting Sunday at the Omni Colonnade here in San Antonio, and we could not let this moment pass by without coming by and helping with IDRA and supporting our local program.
La señorita está aquí porque ella es parte de la organización nacional y ellos están aquí en San Antonio porque tienen su conferencia nacional de HIPPY aquí, pero querían venir a apoyar el grupo de aquí de San Antonio y a la vez las 2 presentadoras que hacen mucho en el proyecto aquí en San Antonio. Y por eso están aquí, les dan la bienvenida y si necesitan cualquier información, la tenemos.
I'm happy to see you all here today. HIPPY USA has a rich history with IDRA, 30 years, particularly because we have common goals and themes of parent engagement and transforming lives, and you will learn more about that with our local program when they do their presentation. So we are thrilled to see you. Thank you for being here, and thanks to our partners and everyone for the great work you do.
La señorita Todd nos platicó que IDRA, el programa de HIPPY y el programa nacional y lo que tenemos aquí, tenemos una historia de más de 30 años. Así que están muy gustosos de estar aquí con nosotros, van a aprender mucho más de lo que hace el programa aquí en San Antonio con nuestras presentadoras. Pero a la vez, si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta o si quieren saber más en cómo tener un programa de HIPPY ustedes, aquí estamos para servirles. Y nos da mucho gusto para seguir con la presentación.
Good morning, my name is Jessica Lopez, Jessica García, perdón. Soy educador de casa por 2 años ya y este programa es muy valorable para los niños y miro que ha crecido mucho. Ahorita vamos a presentar en inglés y en español.
My name is Jenny Guerrero. I've been with the HIPPY program for 2 years. It's a preschool readiness program for children from 3 to 5 years old.
Sorry, we're just having a little bit of difficulties. Anybody? Okay, yes. We have actually hemos estado en servicio por 30 años ya con HIPPY. En San Antonio ya hemos tenido 7 años. Además, hemos mirado muchos familias crecer y se han graduado, ya pienso que 4 años de graduación con nosotros. So we've had about 4 years, about 5 years of HIPPY here in San Antonio. We've had great success with our families, and we've had 4 graduating classes within San Antonio within the last years. We are starting at a new center at the Madonna Center, and we are very pleased with our outcome and with the outreach as far as how we've grown and seeing that our families on the west side are actually really seeing the benefit in it. Also, las familias ahora estamos en el centro de Madonna, en el west side, y es un nuevo programa allí, pero hemos tenido mucho avance en el programa y hemos crecido. Y ahorita todavía estamos comenzando con el programa este año con nuevas familias y estamos viendo que las familias anteriores sí hemos tenido mucha apoyo de la comunidad, de ellos, y les gusta muchísimo el programa. I'm going to do the presentation without the slides for right now. You want to do it? Yeah.
So our presentation is called Home as a Learning Lab.
So, el hogar como laboratorio de aprendizaje.
So the HIPPY model, research-proven program model, a 30-week curriculum for children ages 3, 4, and 5 years old, weekly home visits to each parent, school readiness skills, shapes, colors, numbers, science, book, knowledge, pre-math, motor skills, monthly parent meetings to network and learn together. Program coordinator supervises home visitors. Role play is the technique used to provide curriculum, training to home visitors and parents.
So, el modelo de HIPPY es un modelo del programa basado en evidencia. Son 30 semanas de currículum para niños de 3, 4 y 5 años. Los educadores visitan los padres una vez por semana. Habilidades de preparación escolar son de formas, colores, números, conocimiento del libro, ciencia, prematemática y habilidades motores. También tenemos reuniones de grupo mensuales para que los padres se puedan conocer y puedan convivir y puedan conectar con otros padres que tienen similares ideas para sus niños. Y el coordinador del programa supervisa los educadores de la casa. Y también el juego de rol es una técnica que usamos en entrenar a los educadores de casa y también a los padres. Eso es, le vamos a enseñar cómo lo hacemos un poquito en unos momentos. Y vamos a tener una actividad donde van a poder ustedes enseñar y ver un poquito de lo que nosotros hacemos una vez por semana con cada familia.
So the role of home educator reflects the community similar to promoters, meets weekly with each parent in their caseload, receives wiki curriculum training from coordinator, provides additional information resources to parents.
El rol de educador de casa refleja a la comunidad similar a promotoras. Reuniones semanales con cada padre es en la cargo de cosas. Proporcionar recursos de información adicionales a los padres. Ahorita vamos a hablar un poquito de nuestras familias. Ahorita yo tengo 14 familias en mi carga de casos con 16 niños. Mis semanas varían por mínimo unas cuantas veces dependiendo de las familias, porque si los niños se enferman o algo pasa, estamos disponibles a cambiar el horario para las familias, para poder verlos y que trabajemos juntos mucho. También avisamos nuestras familias, a veces nuestras familias pasan crisis y les tratamos de ayudar con diferentes recursos como ayudar con la dispensaria de alimentos, ayuda de utilidades. Algunos no han acabado la escuela, solo les damos esos recursos para que puedan acabar la escuela y también seguir en el colegio. También viendo los niños cómo crecen educativamente es un placer. Mi niño estuvo en el programa por 3 años y vi dónde comenzó hasta que graduó y hasta ahorita que está en la escuela ya miro que le ayudó muchísimo el programa, que yo tuve el tiempo para ayudarle y para verlo crecer. Y también a los padres, porque tenemos padres que son muy dedicados a sus hijos y les enseñamos diferentes técnicas para que puedan enseñarles a sus hijos y para que ellos sean la primera maestra de sus hijos.
So I have 12 families in my caseload, and I have 12 children, and schedules could change from week to week, just depending, I understand, their children may have, get sick, something comes up, so my families are very, when it comes to me working with them and them working with me, they understand that things come up and, things happen, so we're also a judgment-free. We go in their homes. One day, if they forget to clean, we don't judge. We walk in there, pretend like we don't see nothing, and we just go on with the curriculum and role play. We try to keep the families on track, even though with the cancellations or the scheduled doctor's appointments. What we do every once in a while is we'll double up. So sometimes we'll be in the house anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes, just depending on the situation. And sometimes there is challenges with family crisis, maybe a death in the family. We don't see our families anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, and that's okay. We understand, we let the parents know that we're there for them, and that if they need anything, to please give us a call, and whatever we could do to help them, we're there. So ideas for sharing. 3-year-olds like to jump, run, kick, climb, draw, build, turn pages of a book, open and close, boxes, doors, drawers, remember and tell stories. They can follow 3-step directions, understand basics of time, morning, day, and night, counting things, understand in, on, over, and under.
A los 3 años les gusta correr, patear, brincar, dibujar, construir pasos, pasar las páginas de libros, abrir y cerrar cajas, puertas, gabinetes, recordar y contar cuentos. Pueden seguir instrucciones de 3 pasos, entender tiempo básico como mañana, día, noche y contar objetos, entender sobre debajo, dentro, fuera. We're going to pass out, Glenn. Tell them we're going to pass out some things.
We're going to pass out some supplies.
We could get into 5 groups.
If y'all could get into 5 groups.
Kind of scoot together.
Scoot together if y'all don't mind.
Si se pueden mover a grupos, a hacer 5 grupos, por favor, vamos a enseñar una actividad y van a poder ver lo que hace. Sí, si pueden, unos 5 grupos como la llena está la casa. No, nomás 5 grupos. So, si pueden dividirse para 5 grupos. So you want to help them? Group 2, Group 3, 4. They're really big, so if they want to kind of maybe, yeah. And then we're going to pass out, vamos a darles unos objetos para que puedan ver lo que un poquito de lo que hacemos. Usamos cosas de casa que uno puede tener que uno tiene a mano, no tienen que ir a comprar cosas para enseñar a sus hijos. So we do use supplies that are around the house. You know, everybody has an empty box or maybe some string, some yarn, tape. So we're going to give you, using simple materials is what we do at home. So if you all would select this, go ahead.
So if y'all would select one of the skills below and use the materials to create an activity for a 3-year-old to learn. Physical coordination, eye-hand coordination, following directions. In groups, develop a simple activity and prepare to demonstrate it. 10 minutes. 10 minutes to develop. Each group will have 3 minutes to demonstrate.
So, si pueden seleccionar uno de las destrezas abajo y usando los materiales que le hemos dado, si pueden hacer una actividad que un niño de 3 años pudiera aprender. Con coordinación física, coordinación entre ojo a mano o seguir instrucciones. En grupos si se pueden desarrollar una actividad simple para demostrar y les vamos a dar un poquito de 10 minutos para que puedan demostrar algo y luego nosotros les vamos a enseñar lo que nosotros hacemos para las actividades. Okay. You gonna make a ball? Yeah, make a ball. Sorry. And then while you guys are working, we're gonna just kind of go over what we do as far as a book walk with our families. And we do offer, it's a 30-week curriculum with about 8 books throughout 30 weeks. And we do give you supplies as well. So durante nuestro programa le damos, son 30 semanas, les damos el currículum, también las cosas para que puedan hacer las actividades y 8 libros durante los 30 semanas. If you have any questions, please, we have some of our home educators that are walking around if you have any questions or if you need any activities. So tenemos diferentes personas caminando si necesitan ayuda. Well, I didn't know we had them on.
Hello, it's me again. The activities that you have at your tables are samples of what these home educators go in and sit down with the parents to role play with the parents. So when we know that all parents want what's best for their kiddos and want their child to succeed, we role play with that parent to show them the activities that they're going to do with their child every day that week. So you've got those activities that you are doing on your own, but in the HIPPY setting, the actual home visitor would come in and role play with you as the parent to show you how to complete that activity with your child and the skills that your child will learn with those activities. So continue.
Lo que dijo Teri es que las actividades que ustedes están desarrollando son parte de la instrucción que los instructores dan a los padres. No lo hacen solos, pero utilizan los materiales del hogar. Y les dan una actividad que desarrollan y después van a jugar con él antes que lleguen al hogar.
Okay. Do we have about... Did she... Teri. Yes, Teri. I know. Where's the curriculum? Where's the ball? Big one. This tells us the ball. Motor game. We just did before. Time's up. So do I read this? Yeah, you can read that. So do I say time's up? Okay, good.
Okay, we're going to give y'all about 1 more minute.
Because we have till 10:20. We have till 10:20. Oh, God. So say, okay, you'll have like 5 minutes. No, we'll let the minute slide. I love that one. Look. One more minute. Do you like this? Durante nuestra semana lo que hacemos es un desarrollo de rol y ese para nosotros de educadores es el lunes y tomamos como 3 horas para entrenar y nosotros hacemos las actividades que vamos a enseñarles a los padres. So our training is we role play with each other so we can actually see how the parents would answer and practice on each other so that way when we do it with the parents, we kind of have that experience of the wrong answers and we really do focus on not telling our children no. That's really a HIPPY, we try for HIPPY is not saying no, just letting them know, okay, that wasn't the right answer, but we confirm, correct, and complete. So confirmamos las respuestas que con los niños no decimos, tratamos de no decir no a los niños cuando no nos dan la respuesta correcta. Tratamos de decirles confirmar la respuesta, corregir y completar. So, si tenemos algún grupo que nos quiere enseñar o decir qué hicieron, do we have any groups that would like to kind of explain what they did? Any volunteers? Okay. You have to come up to the mic. So if you want to come. Okay. Any, y'all have to come? Well, just somebody to speak and somebody to display. Okay. Can we take this off? We can. Right here.
Do I start?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is our hand-eye coordination. This is a rocket, es un cohete. So los niños pueden volar como un cohete, pueden dar así, hacer como que son ellos parte de su ambiente. Pueden pasar por los pasillos, por su casa, encontrando nuevas cosas, ver a ver qué hay de nuevo, solo que es un cohete. So they can do the hand-eye coordination by going to different things, shooting around their house or their classrooms, right? Because it's at home, so that they are able to explore new things. El cohete.
No, go right ahead.
No, my turn right here. Okay. All right. I don't know if y'all can see me. Okay, this is our box, and this is for us to teach the kids right, left, front, and back. We tell them get in the right side of the car, and then we'll pull them. But then we can't leave the car unless they get into the right, front, or the back as we tell them to, and it's teaching them their directions. Yay!
Lo que hicieron fue en la izquierda, derecha, enfrente y atrás. So lo están haciendo como un carro. So no los tienen que entrar o ir al lado como ellos dicen para que los niños puedan jugar como un carro.
Yay!
Yay. Everybody use the box. I was like, we didn't get started. No. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like,
well, we just did a little rocket launch. We hide the knife so they wouldn't get it, and we could, they could use it as an eye coordination. Aim for the box, and so, that's what we did.
So usaron el papel y la caja para hacer la actividad para que pudieran hacerlo adentro de la caja. We have those two. We have two more. Si pudieran las dos sería bien, si no, yo puedo.
Porque no nos dio unas tijeras. They didn't give us scissors.
Oh, no, we didn't have scissors. No scissors.
Okay. Lo que tratamos de hacer en nuestro grupo es, Lo que tratamos de hacer en nuestro grupo es un libro. Sabemos que es 3 años, pero le podemos enseñar a la mamá y a los niños lo que es literatura, ir a la biblioteca. Entonces, en el grupo de nosotros quisimos empezar a identificar el abecedario, pero con el nombre del niño o la niña. En este caso, la niña que representaba nuestra mesa se llamaba Norma. Entonces, nuestros niños hicieron el dibujo de Norma con su nombre para poder empezar a identificar su nombre y su abecedario. Entonces, empezamos con la N, ¿verdad? Y luego dibujaron una niña, ¿ok? Y luego la O, un oso, porque es la letra O. Y luego la R, una rosa, una foto de una rosa. Y luego la M, una mesa. Y luego un A, un árbol. De esa manera, el niño o la niña empieza a identificar su nombre y también identificar el abecedario. Entonces, intentamos hacer agujeritos para usar el hilo para que usen sus dedos, their fine motor skills, pero eso fue. So I say in English or what? Please. Or you say in English? You can say in English. Okay. What our group, we tried to do was for our 3-year-old to be able to identify early literacy, okay? So one of the things with the child and the mother was to create a little book. and to give them, to engage them with going to the library and identifying books, how to handle books and how to create books. So we tried to, by using their fine motor skills, normally, we would, hole punch it or something and then get the yarn and then have the child use their fingers to utilize their fine motor skills and kind of, thread through the holes in order to bind the book. So what we did is have our 3-year-old do her name, identify her name, Norma, and do a little picture. And the reason why we didn't start with we decided not to start with the alphabet was if we identify with, the self, the child, the name, because that's what they're going to learn, the first. So they're going to start identifying their name and then identifying the name with the alphabet. So then we had one of the persons do the letter N, and they drew a little girl, niña in Espanol. We decided to go to Spanish. And then for the O, we decided to do a bear for also in Spanish. In the case, with the O, you can do an ox or, I don't know, another picture. And then for the letter R, we decided to write draw a rose. So the child can be identifying the letter with a picture. And then for the M, a table for Spanish. And then the letter A with a tree, for Spanish, an árbol. This way, the child, the 3-year-old, can start identifying her name with the alphabet, with the letters, and more than anything, for the mother and child, to introduce early literacy.
And our last group, please. Anybody? This way.
Our idea was already taken, but it was just basketball, just having the student shoot a ball into the basket.
So lo que hicieron fue usar la caja como
como
una canasta para básquetbol, y lo que hicieron fue tirar la pelota adentro de la caja como un básquetbol. Thank you. You all had amazing ideas, and with a box, paper, tape. I know we didn't give you a lot of supplies, but again, that's what we do with our families. We try to do amazing things, which you all did, with the minimal as far as supplies needed, that you don't have to go out and buy them. You don't have to feel like, oh, I need to go buy a new ball. I need to go do something to where they need a new toy or something. These are amazing toys that with just a box, string, and paper. That's really what we do with HIPPY. Lo que hacemos es tratamos de usar lo que tenemos alrededor de la casa para nuestras familias, para que no tengan que sentir que tienen que ir a comprar diferentes materiales, como una pelota nueva o un juguete nuevo que pueden aprender con cosas mínimas que tenemos en la casa. So what we're actually going to do next is, I know, is kind of show you what we do with HIPPY. We're going to role play. I know it's going to be a little bit hard for you all to see, but we're going to do what we would do with our families. First, we're going to just do a book walk real quick, and that's kind of what we do at the beginning of each new book when we present them to our families. So lo que vamos a hacer es enseñar un camino para ayudar la literatura para los niños, que es I can't say book walk in Spanish. Sorry. Book walk. Pasar por el libro como nosotros le enseñamos a nuestras familias. Yo sé que no van a poder ver todo, pero vamos a tratar de usar lo que podemos.
So every time we introduce a new book, we always tell the parents, it's great to do a book walk. We like to teach the children, how to take care of their books. So the first thing we do is when we introduce a new book to the parents, we say, we're going to introduce you, Where Spot. The author is Eric Hill. This is the front of the book. This is the spine, the top, the bottom, the pages, and the back of the book. So every time we give them a new book, which is anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks, they get a new book. So when we start off our role play with them, that's the first thing we do, the book walk. Even though we know they do it every time they read a book, that's just one of our big things, teaching children, to care for books, to try to place them in a safe place when they're done with them.
Cuando enseñamos a nuestras familias, les enseñamos cómo hacer el retraso del libro. So el título es ¿Dónde está Spot? Y este es el frente del libro. El autor es Eric Hill. Esta es la espina y esto es lo de atrás del libro, lo de arriba, lo de abajo y las páginas. So lo que hacemos es enseñarles a nuestras familias que esto es una buena manera para enseñarle a los niños, hacerles entender que sí hay que cuidar nuestros libros y también que hay diferentes partes de nuestros libros. Y también hacemos muchas cosas que ellos normalmente lo hacen durante todo el currículum. Son de 3 a 5 semanas les damos un libro nuevo. Pero también ellos lo hacen, yo sé que los niños les gusta mucho hacerlo, enseñarles a sus padres que mira, yo ya sé lo que es lo de enfrente del libro, lo de atrás del libro, lo de arriba y lo de abajo, y la espina. Cuando miras eso es algo muy maravilloso. Y luego vamos a hacer una actividad con, no sé que no muchos usaron el cordón como para ponerse la caja, cosas así. Nosotros lo que hacemos es, lo enseñamos con la coordinación física. Hacemos un desarrollo donde marchamos alrededor de un círculo, caminamos despacio, caminamos recio. Eso es lo que nosotros usamos para el cordón cuando hacemos nuestra actividad.
So with yarn, what we do, we make a circle, and we show the kids inside, outside. We march around the circle, also walking fast, walking slow, or even walking with like a rhythm. Walk slow. Take tiny steps. Walk fast. Walk normal. Inside the circle. Inside the circle.
Like this?
One foot inside the circle and then other foot inside the circle. Then outside the circle. And that's basically what we use the yarn for.
And
And then using simple materials, paper, make balls, rolling, catching, throwing, following directions, paper footsteps, big and little, following directions, and then again the yarn, large motor, jumping on either side of the yarn, or line, inside and outside of the circle, big steps, little steps.
Igual usamos los materiales sencillos, como hacer lo que nosotros hacemos con el papel y el tape o también con el cordón, hacemos pelotas, para que así no tienen que ir a comprar las pelotas para los niños. Los pescan, los tiran, ahí pueden coordinar. También hacemos con los papeles, hacemos pasos, donde ellos pueden hacer pasos grandes, pasos pequeños, y también eso les ayuda a seguir dirección. Están siguiendo a los padres con las direcciones y les están apoyando. Y luego la cosa con nosotros también lo que hacemos es tratamos de dejar que los niños nos digan qué hagamos. Si ellos quieren hacer pasos grandes, nosotros los hacemos los pasos grandes. Tomamos turnos con los niños para que puedan ellos sentirse que nosotros les estamos poniendo esa atención y nosotros les estamos siguiendo su dirección. So what we do is we also do, we take turns with our children. So we let them be the leaders to get that confidence in knowing that, my mom's listening to me, what I want to do. So if she wants to do big steps, well, we'll do the big steps. If they want to do little steps, we'll do little steps. So we do try to take turns and show that our children that, you know, they can be leaders, we can follow them, and it's really something to, good for them to build that confidence for when they do start school. Los pasitos, sí. So she's actually one of my clients. She actually did do the activity with the big steps and little steps, and she used the colored paper. So she says not only do they learn colors, but they learn the big steps, the little steps, they learn to follow, and she's like, I would have known, she would have brought her steps. But, okay. We actually, we had an activity as far as the curriculum. I'm just gonna kind of show you what our curriculum looks like. This is what we do. It's actually very structured, and the bold print is actually what we say as parents and instructors. The lighter print is for the children to respond. So lo que está, esto es nuestro currículum, un ejemplo. Lo que está más oscuro es lo que decimos entre los padres y los educadores, y lo que está más clarito es donde estamos esperando la respuesta de los niños. And then the parentheses, again, it's something that they work on as far as what we read silently. Lo que está en paréntesis, lo que hacemos es, eso lo estamos leyendo internamente, no lo estamos diciendo oralmente, sí. So, estamos tratando de que ellos les damos tiempos para que puedan pensar. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
So is it all in English?
We do English and Spanish. So we have educators that are in English and Spanish. We have, with our location, we have 2 Spanish educators.
If you have a question, we'd like for
Okay.
to say it again, because that's the only thing the mic picks up. So, the question was, is it
La pregunta era si teníamos el currículum en inglés y en español. Y sí, lo ofrecemos en inglés y en español. Ahorita tenemos 2 educadores de casa que hablan español y los otros 4 hablan inglés. Pues los 2 de idiomas, los 6, los 5 de nosotros.
And then a few of us home educators, we do have Spanish-speaking parents, so what we do is we role play with them in English and we give them the Spanish curriculum.
Yes. The question was up to what age do we have our curriculum, our program. So tenemos de 3, 4 y 5 años. So comenzamos a los 3 y luego siguen. Mientras que ellos completen el año, seguimos, y luego el tercer año es donde se gradúan y nos miramos cada otra semana.
So we have our ages, it's from 3, 4, and 5.
Anybody else?
One more question.
Yes. La pregunta, so if a family wants to get your services, or how do they get in contact with you?
We actually are at the Madonna Center, and we have the information. You can contact either of us. You can actually go on our website, or the question was how they could get services if any of your families would like services with us. So what we would do is they would contact the Madonna Center, or you could even go on HIPPY USA and contact us through there. So la pregunta fue que cómo podían recibir nuestros servicios. Tenemos se pueden ir por nuestra red en Madonna Center, o también pueden ir por la página de web de HIPPY USA.
Tienen muchos materiales aquí. But don't leave, I'm going to say something. They didn't even need the translation. Didn't they do a great job? Yeah. Now, the program, HIPPY, has been around for a long time. It is very much a research-based program. The 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds who participate in the program not only are more than ready to get into anything in a school setting, but you find them being very interactive with their families. The parents of the children who are participating in HIPPY also have a big advantage in that they now know that they are their children's first and most important teachers, but can work with the classroom teacher in everything that they're learning in a classroom setting. So consequently, and then as you saw, our parent teachers, our parent educators go on to become the leaders in their respective campuses as their children are going through their educational setting. So not only are we pleased that this program is all over the country, but that we have it here in San Antonio, and also that we would like a lot more families participating in this because it is a very worthwhile, very enriching program. And I want you to notice one thing. When they were doing the role playing, that she never said no. When the child didn't know how to get inside the circle, the teacher, the mother, gave more instruction, but never said no. That is one of the premises of HIPPY, that we definitely promote the positive. We always look at everything that the child brings rather than what the child doesn't have, because that's why they go to school. That's why they are in your home setting, to learn something new. So thank you so very much. We have a very, very, very small gift for both of our presenters and Miss Teri as well. Thank you. That's from IDRA. And then if you want more information, you have it in your packets. There was a handout that was given to you as well. Así que si quieren información, hay mucha información. Y aquí están todos los expertos aquí, pueden utilizarlos a ellos también, van a estar aquí todo el día. So we thank you very much, but before you go, there is an evaluation that I handed out earlier. It's a brown sheet. Brown, ¿verdad? ¿Cuál color? Ya ni sé cuál color di. Would you please help us find out more about what you thought about this presentation? If you've got some ideas for making it bigger, different, etc. Thank you. As soon as you finish your evaluations, I will be at the door collecting them. Thank you again. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're here with Maria Amaya, who is a participant in today's event. Tell me where you came from and tell me what you're here to find out.
En español, ok. Estoy aquí porque las muchachas del grupo de padres de la escuela Bauden me escogieron a mí para que viniera a agarrar información y se las pudiera transmitir a ellas.
Is this the first time you've come?
Sí, es la primera vez.
How did you find out about it?
Pues todo lo que venga de aprendizaje, a mí me gusta aprender todo lo que pueda aprender para mi vida, para darles una mejor calidad de vida a mis hijos. Oh, very, very good. muy bueno. Muy bueno, sí.
And where did you travel from? What city?
¿De aquí de San Antonio? San Antonio, Texas. Soy representante de la escuela Bauden. Bauden Academies. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Oh, gracias a ustedes por tan buena información que traen. Gracias.
Thank you.
Please, and the name of your organization.
Claudia Sánchez. I'm with Texas Victory Project.
What is the nature of your project?
So we are an organization that's based out of South Texas, so San Antonio down to the border. We're focusing on empowering our community to vote, not only about just voting, but talking about the issues and building leadership in our communities, getting them to be engaged, educated, and empowered to be active on the issues directly impacting our communities, especially working class communities, and for them to be active and engaged in voting, holding our elected officials accountable.
Excellent. So you just made a presentation. What was the title of the presentation and what was it about?
So it was DACA, our communities, and ownership of our communities. And
What does DACA stand for?
so DACA is for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And that's what we were talking about, just making sure that our students that are under the Dreamers, that are under the status of DACA, that they're able to continue with their education, especially right now with a lot of the issues that we're seeing in our courts, and especially with our president, our current president, resigning, DACA, making sure that our students are still being active and getting the information they need to continue with their education, to continue applying for DACA and down the road, and then making sure that they get the resources and the support system they need to be successful.
What kind of support should the community give to these students?
Yeah, so I was telling our people in our workshop that we need to get our parents and our students involved, letting them know all the information they need to know to be empowered, to be continuing with their education. So if they need to look at scholarships or any type of services, how to apply for DACA, where to apply, how to do the whole process, that they know how, that they do it ahead of time, and that once they, that they do that, they know in case they remove it, what they can do to continue with their education, so what services and locations that they can go to get those services to be continuing with their efforts. And their parents also, how to be engaged and educated and active in the school system, in the political process, and even if they can't vote, that they can still be active and they can still encourage others that can vote to go out and vote and to register and to block walk, phone bank, to make sure that they're engaged on those issues and that they're being vocal and progressive and also on the defensive. And so just, getting people to be engaged on those issues.
What are the benefits of the community at large of supporting DACA students and their families?
And so basically it's our, it impacts, that's what I was telling the people at the workshop, it impacts all of us regardless of your legal status or not, because we have people in our community that have family members, that have friends, that have neighbors that, might benefit from those services. And so it hurts our community as a whole when we have people that are being, abused or that are being, are not having the same opportunities as everyone else. As a community, it hurts us one way or the other, even though we might not directly be impacted by the issue, but as a community, so it's important that they get active also, even if they're not directly themselves impacted, but they have friends and family that might be. And that's why we need everyone to be active and informed about the issues.
So in your project, what are your personal responsibilities? What is it you have to do in your project?
And so with us, it's like I said, from San Antonio down to the border, South Texas, making sure that our communities are being more engaged in voting, that they know the information, so getting that information to them through town halls, that they get the information sometimes even at their door by block walking, phone banking, and then also making sure that they go out to vote, like reminding them, like you need to go vote. We have our elections coming up. These are the dates. You need to go vote. Don't forget, just like reminding them, because we're all busy. We have work. We have responsibilities with family, different issues that we have going on. So we need to make sure that they go out to vote. And then also having people know what's happening in our communities, whether it's in immigration, such as DACA, or if it's healthcare, education, our criminal justice system. They need to know what's happening in their communities, the reality, not just what they see on the news, but then also taking ownership of those issues and not waiting for our elected officials to do it for us, because a lot of times they don't. And it's across the board. It's not just one party or the other. They're not doing that for us. And so making sure that we're holding them accountable, and that if they're not doing it, then we can put somebody else in their spot to make sure that they're advocating and looking out on our best interest, and also listening to us, because a lot of times they don't even want to listen to our communities. And so that's kind of what, Texas Victory Project is doing. And also we want to mobilize people when we have an issue at the state, at the national level. We're working mostly state, South Texas, but also, eventually, long term, if we can mobilize people for the national level, that's one of our long-term goals, because they know what's happening, they know the reality, and that when it comes time to taking action, that we do that regardless of the issue, not just DACA, not just healthcare, not just immigration, but across the board. Because I said, if you're working class community or impacted by these issues, it doesn't matter if you're Latino, if you're African American, it doesn't matter. You're across the board, you're impacted, and it impacts our community and the future of our state, the future of our nation.
Thank you. Claudia Sánchez with the Texas Victory Project. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Your names, please.
Delia Martinez. Mercedes Bristol.
And the organization you represent is?
San Antonio Grandparents Raising Grandchildren.
And what is Grandparents Raising Grandchildren about?
It's about an advocacy program that we advocate for the grandparents that are taking care of their grandchildren that get placed by either by CPS or by the parents that are not able to take care of the children. So we advocate for grandparents to know their rights, to know how they can actually step up and get help to be able to complete that task that they've been given.
And how did your organization start?
Well, it started by learning that we needed to do something. We needed to step up, and there's nobody bringing the things that grandparents need to them and saying, legislators are saying, hey, here it is, this is what grandparents need. So we needed to go out there and start doing something. So the first thing was to go to Judge Peter Sakai and take care of the legal part, which we have with him, and we have a legal task force that we take grandparents to meet with the lawyers and discuss whatever legal issues they have. We also work with the senators and state representatives on going to Austin and testifying on bills, or helping write bills that are going to help the grandparents financially. Or if there's a bill that has restrictions, then grandparents can't qualify for those things, then let's take those restrictions down and help them really qualify for these things.
Good. How many support groups do you have, and what do they do?
We started with one, and now we are up to 7 support groups throughout San Antonio and the outskirts of Bexar County.
Okay. We're going to have to go to the next session. What was your presentation was about what?
It was about educating the community of the grandparents that are in the school system that are not identified, and how these children fall between the cracks and not get identified for their misbehavior or things that they're going through, and they don't get the help that they need. And so by identifying the need that they have in schools, then we can empower those children to be successful.
Thank you very much. Thank you both, and good luck to grandparents raising grandchildren.
Thank you.
don't have anything. No copies. Huh? We have no copies. We have to just look at the screen. And we have to, different here. Are we ready to rock and roll here? Good morning, everyone. Hi. So I'm Becky Barrera, and this is my colleague,
Mary Gutierrez.
And we're here representing the National Latino Children's Institute, and we're going to talk about El Día de los Niños, celebrating young American, the most fun celebration you can imagine. It's better than any political holiday. It's better than any historical holiday. It's just a wonderful opportunity. And so today we'd like to talk about, let's look at our slides. We're going to talk about the goals of having this celebration in your community, and we're going to talk about why we should celebrate and what's the meaning behind it, what's the purpose. And
then we're going to talk about how to celebrate. You know, Becky said that there's not politics, there's not history. Yeah, there is. All of that.
Different kind of
politics, the history, the culture, but it's going to be led by children. So that's going to be the beauty of it. And then we're going to talk about how we're going to organize this to make it work. Okay?
Yeah. So look at this wonderful picture. That's what it looks like in action. So the first Día de los Niños happened in San Antonio, and it was born from a request by the young people who attended a national summit on young Latinos. They really complained about, hey, there's a Mother's Day and a Father's Day. How come there's nothing for kids? Nobody pays attention to us.
You have your birthday.
Oh, yeah, but still, that's not the same thing. I want a real day like everybody else's day. That's what the kids told us. And so from that was born this idea of creating the Día de los Niños, because we heard that in Mexico on April 30th, it's a kid's day. It's called El Día del Niño. Any of you out there familiar with that? Right? I knew you would be. So we wanted to make sure we had something like that in the US, not just because we wanted a day to celebrate, but mostly because the young people said that they needed a way to get their words out, their creative voice for them. Let them participate in their future, and will somebody please listen to what is their future life and what their dreams and wishes are. And so we began in 1998 here in San Antonio, Texas, led by the San Antonio Youth Commission, a group of young, energetic high school kids, and they took it to city council, and it was passed as a resolution, and it became the first city in the United States. But at least 5 or 6 cities came to observe, and the next year we had 15 cities rock and rolling, and now there's way over 100. So it was exciting. It started here, and since then also the United States Senate has passed a resolution declaring El Día de los Niños, celebrating young Americans, as a national commemorative holiday. It's not a holiday where you get the day off from work, but it's a pretty good holiday otherwise. And these are some of the ways in which many of the cities celebrate. You can find in small towns, like in Donna, Texas, and in the Rio Grande Valley, you might find a small Avance program that has a Día de los Niños, or you might be in Chicago where there's 10,000 children marching in a parade and having an all-day festival. And in Puerto Rico, the bells ring at 10 in the morning saying, it's the day for the children.
But everywhere you go, you'll notice that in where is it, in Chicago, the El Día de los Niños, that has been translated into 14 languages. So there's languages. There's diversity throughout the country. So that's it was originally designed as a Día de los Niños for Latinos, but now all children have become involved, so that they're finding out about this diverse nation that they live in, this world that they live in, and how they can be a part of it, and how they can participate, and how their voice can be heard through a vehicle such as this.
Right. So there's a lot of ways to get involved, right now you're taking the first step because you're learning how you can create this day in your community. It could be your church, it could be your school, it might be a women's club or a car club, or any group can say, we want to have El Día de los Niños celebrating young Americans. In fact, the library association called Reforma of the Hispanic librarians have started it in libraries all over the country, and they call it El Día del Niño, El Día de los Libros. So it's very, very cool. And so one of the ways that you become an official city is you have to tell us that you want to be on the list. Then you have access to all of our resources, to our logos, our information, and that's why we want you to sign up and become part of the real thing.
And us, just so that you will know, is the National Latino Children's Institute.
And this is the website for the National Latino Children's Institute. It's nlci.org, and to get to the exact page you want, you do a / initiatives / El Día de los Niños, and it will click right into, it'll take you right into that. But if you just go to the first page of the website, that will be great, because then you can explore all of the things that are part of the National Latino Children's Institute. We are the steward organization, and we support and move this holiday forward throughout the country, and we are the ones who have organized the 19 years of passing the U.S. Senate resolution. So it's a great honor to be part of that. Well, why on earth should we be doing this? Let's think about that just a minute. What's so important about a Kids' Day? Why do we want to do this? Well, this is a tough time for kids in the U.S. if your last name is Garcia or Barrera like mine, or Longoria Gutierrez like yours. There's not a lot of understanding of the role of immigrant families, of our culture, of our language differences. And so when you have a day like this where you can uplift children and make them feel proud of their culture and their background, it's a marvelous, wonderful thing. It really reinforces their cultural heritage and their sense of I can. I remember reading a report about children who were in the 9/11 tragedy in New York City. And following that event, they did a study of children who were resilient and bounced back right away. And they found that almost every one of those children had a really good sense of who they were, who their family was, what their heritage was, and they saw themselves as part of this. If my grandfather can do it, I can survive anything. And they were able to bounce right back and get back into school and do very, very well. And we believe that that's the case across the country for many, many things, that when our children have a sense of themselves and their roots and their heritage, they are stronger and more capable and more successful. There's another reason we celebrate this holiday, and it's because we want to look at what's going on in our community. We want to look at the issues that our young people face every day. And when you have a day like this, you can draw attention to children. You can have press events, you can have power breakfasts, you can do many things that will draw the public's attention to what's going on with kids. And we're going to show you some of those examples in just a minute.
And what that does is it gives the children the opportunity to become the leaders. They see how they can become involved. They see how they can have their voices heard, how they can participate in the government process within the city, how they can work with sponsors to get different things that they need. They become the leaders. Look at the kids in Parkland in Florida. Those leaders are here in San Antonio. They are all over the country. What we have to do is give them a vehicle so that their voices can be heard. And this is a really good way to start it. So, youth leaders.
So there it is, the youth leaders. We want to give them their day. You see, these two young people are at the Capitol in Austin, and they're talking to their representatives, and they're saying, today's our day, and you give us this little proclamation, but what else are you going to do? Are you going to pay attention to our education? Are you going to pay attention to our opportunities for a future workforce? How do you feel about us in our schools? How come my school doesn't have air conditioning, or I don't have advanced computer laboratories like rich schools? There's many ways in which young people take the lead and take charge, and we pay attention to them on this day because it's their day. They also do fun stuff, like they lead the parade, and they sometimes help the little kids who are at the festivals or at the events where they're participating.
Okay. Okay, how do we celebrate? Lots of opportunities to celebrate. Becky mentioned in Donna, Texas, you can see on the slide over here,
there they are.
this HEB group of kids over here. Those are the kids from Donna. The ones on the other side, where were they from?
Springfield, Illinois.
So the celebrations go on all over the country, over 100 cities all over the, almost 200 cities all over the country. And the ways that they celebrate vary, but they all start the same way. A group of people get together and say, let's do something special for our kids. Let's do something to celebrate our kids. This creates a work group. This work group then says, oh, but I don't know, how are we going to get the money? I don't know, what are we going to do? They have to think about what they're going to do. But when you get a group together, before you know it, this friend right here happens to know the guy that works at HEB that can get us some food. And this lady over here, she knows somebody at Walmart, and that person can get us some drinks. Maybe we can do a 5K. We're going to need water for that. Or this girl over here, she happens to know the wife of the mayor. Maybe she can get the mayor to come down and be the person that does it. And before you know it, you've got a work group that is really, really rocking and rolling. So get those and start by holding meetings together. Those meetings then are going to take you to all the, we're gonna go through several more steps, but this work group is the first one. From there you develop all the committees that you're gonna need for everything else.
And these work groups, as they begin to work on issues for children and on the celebration, they begin to realize what's going on in the community. They begin talking to young people because the young people are involved, and they learn that getting a summer job is really tough, or that there is a difficulty with transportation, or that there's an unsafe park where you used to be able to go and play after school and you had a ball game going, and now it's full of needles and drug paraphernalia. And you're like, why is my neighborhood not safe anymore? And until these work groups start talking about it among themselves, nothing gets done. But once they have a bond and they've worked together, they can take on any kind of problem. They can talk to their school board, they can go to city council, they can go many directions. It just depends on their energy and their enthusiasm and their willingness to get involved and get their hands a little dirty and sometimes take a little heat.
Okay, so let's think about April 30th. Hello, there we go. First thing you want to do is generate some resolutions. This work group is going to come out with a lot of different things that they want to talk to. But we can do resolutions in a very personal way. I can say, okay, you know what? For 2 hours while I'm making dinner and we're having dinner, I'm not going to look at my phone. Forget Facebook, forget everything else. I'm going to pay attention to my kids. That's my personal one. Okay? There may be at your school, they'll pass a resolution that says we're going to support the Day of the Child and we're going to do this. Maybe there are organizations, pre-KSA, you know, organizations that work with children in your community. City, state, national, take it as big as you want. But if you upload your resolutions to the NCLI website, then we will provide them with a mailing list so you can get all of these. Okay?
And as you collect resolutions from the people in your schools and in your organizations, now you have your own mailing list of people you can bring into your circle and have them work with you on library improvement, street issues, safety, whatever it is that is important to you when it's not the one day that you're celebrating the children.
How many of you have made the milagros that are outside at the milagros table? Did you make a milagro? Go make a milagro before you leave, okay? The milagros tend to be a very important part of anything that you do because the milagros represent the hopes, the wishes, the dreams of the children. If I can put together in a few words on a piece of paper and decorate it, you know, we think of milagros like I hope the broken arm gets better and I hope that the toe doesn't hurt anymore and my abuelita's back doesn't hurt. Yeah, okay, you see those in churches all the time. But these are little milagros. We're calling them milagros. They're the wishes, the dreams, the hopes of the children of the future. And what do they want? When you start reading the dreams of the children, yeah, they dream about having better grades. They hope that their sister doesn't fight with them so much. But they also put down things like, I hope my mother can come back soon. She was deported. I hope my dad would quit drinking so much. I hope that my tia doesn't come over here anymore because her husband hit her. You know, they break your heart when you see some of these things. You know, there was one that we heard just this morning, a 14-year-old girl. You know, I have a friend who has quit school because she's transgender and she's afraid to go back because she's getting bullied. You know, and all of a sudden these voices are heard. You start reading these milagros, these things that the children wish for, and you think, okay, there are issues in this community. Right. There are things that we need to deal with. So those issues come up. Maybe then we turn around and say, okay, businesses in town, we need to have a roundtable to discuss some of these things. Maybe we have a power breakfast with all of the community leaders, the city leaders, the county leaders, our state representatives. Bring them to the table and say, hey, you know what? This is what our kids are saying. These are things that we need to address. They're important for the future of this community. And they're going to say something. So, you know, have a press event, you know. It's fun, all the festival, the parade, the book giveaways, you know, all those, they're all fun, but there's some seriousness to this as well.
And before you leave that, I wanted to show you, all of you have this handout in your package, and it shows you how to do the Milagros display at your school or your library or your church. And these have been made all over the country and collected, and then we hope to have many, many in San Antonio and display them at City Hall after El Día de los Niños festival. I think it will be really eye-opening for our elected officials to recognize some of the things that our children are saying about their wishes and dreams for the future. So who else, how are you going to put this event on, or this press briefing, or this power event? We did it this morning by making a partnership with Intercultural Development Research Association, and that's what you will do. You will build partnerships in your community. You might go to the mall that's nearest your school, or to the library, or to the church group, or any nonprofit that's there. Bring them in, recruit them, ask them to take part in solving the problems, in creating public awareness, and in creating events where these issues can come forward to the table, as well as creating events to have a lot of fun so that children become primary in your community. So we need to count on business leaders because they have sponsorships. If you look down here, we've got HEB gave us this gigantic cake that's as big as 2 of these tables. We gave 1,000 children a piece of cake. And on the right, you see the Greater San Antonio McDonald's Owners Association, and they sponsored the very first Dia de los Niños, and several years after that as well. So look for your partners in the community who can help you. And remember, your partners can be elected officials, they can be business sponsors who have a reason to get involved with you because, for example, if you want to have field games, why don't you go to a sports store and have them give you all the equipment and have their employees wear their work shirts and put on the event. It works beautifully.
Very important part of any festival or any event that you put on, because everything to the families and the children who attend is free. Therefore, your volunteers are essential. You've got to have people that you can count on to run all of the booths, all of the activities, to clean up, to carry water, to, you know, do everything that you need done, but you need volunteers. They can be volunteers from organizations or businesses that you're working with. They can be volunteers from your work group, people that you know from the schools, from the library, from wherever you can find them. You need to get we've got how many, 30-something from the Junior League of San Antonio coming to the San Antonio one. You know,
and college students that need community service hours.
To do their community service hours. Interns who are working at certain businesses, they have to do community service hours. So give them the opportunity and you take advantage of it and then say thank you at the end.
Right.
Okay?
So getting the sponsors is sometimes tricky. People like, I don't know, me da vergüenza. I don't know how to ask. Yeah, I don't know if I can ask them. But a sponsor, you have to offer them something that makes them want to do it. So let's say, so you go to them and you say, I want to offer you an opportunity for 1,000 children to wear your logo on a baseball cap or on a sticker if you will come and be the sponsor of this event. And you know what? It's very hard for businesses to say no to children. They might say no to other groups, but to children, they want to be involved because they know the parents will be coming. They also know that families that have children spend more money than families that do not have children because you're busy buying more toilet paper, more food, more supplies, things for the home, and so they want to participate. So these are just some ideas and ways that you can get others to help you. They can give you real cash because there are some hard expenses. You might have to pay for insurance for your event or pay for a sound system or renting tents or something like that. But in kind, never say no to anything in kind. If they're going to give you 1,000 bottles of water, take it. Don't worry about getting cash. Get the water. And then we always think of how we're going to honor and recognize all of these people who have helped. So don't forget that part. There's you, Ronald McDonald.
No, the media plan. You know, it used to be that you had to tell the radio, you had to tell the TV, you had to tell the newspaper. That's still important. However, if you know somebody or if you are good at social media, that's the way to get the word out. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on Instagram, put it on, if you know somebody that does that, or if that's popular in your circle, get the word out any way you can. We have one group that is wanted to do a Facebook page. Every week they wanted an update on what the committees are doing and what is happening and how we're planning and all that kind of, whatever works for you, get the word out to as many places as you can. Posters, flyers, the corporations can do stuff. 1 year HEB,
We do. I actually have that.
you have that? 1 year HEB put together, you know how they have the combo meals? They did a
Well,
special
here's
thing.
the ad for the grocery store.
How to set your table.
On the back, there's the whole Dia de los Niños, and they put this out in every newspaper across the state of Texas. So there's things that they want to sell, right? But they're also promoting El Dia del Niño or Dia de los Niños, depending on what part of where you are. It's in Mexico, El Dia del Niño is also sponsored by HEB. So this is a great opportunity and a way for companies to get involved. And
But get the word out any way you can. Get the word out. Okay, April 30th. What do? How do we do this? First, we have to think about things to think about. Now, we're not going to go over all of this. This is in your handout, or you can download it off the website. And we're going to make this into a checklist because you're going to really have to check off every single one of these when you start putting things together. Because you have to think about, you know, parking. If kids are going to come in school buses, if they're coming from schools, the first time we did this here in San Antonio, we thought, oh my God, it's 10 minutes till 10 and nobody is here yet. And then we were supposed to start at 10 o'clock and it was just all our workers and stuff. And where's the school buses and where's this? And then before we knew it, we looked up and here comes the big yellow school buses around the corner. Over 600 kids showed up in those school buses alone. Yeah. And so it was fabulous. But where do we park them? Where do we make a place for them to change the diapers? It's going to be somewhere safe and clean.
Because you can assume that if a parent has little ones that are preschool or first, second, third grade, they probably have babies also, and so you need to have things like that. You know, one of the things, looking at the top, we create worksheets for every task that needs to be done, and we also make a list of all the little jobs that have to be done, and then who's going to do it, and then by what date you want to do it. These worksheets will all be online, and you'll be able to download them in the next few days. Once this whole event is over, we'll make sure everything gets uploaded, and you'll be able to have them available to you. But the third item, school day or weekend, is important for you to consider because we have run them on both times. If it's a school day, it's a great field trip, but you have to make it educational. You have to add a small curriculum for the teachers so that they know what they're working on with kids, and it's got some substance to it. You can't just come to a party. It's got to be some educational substance behind this event. And if it's on a Saturday, you can count on it being families that come as a group rather than teachers and chaperones. So when families come, you have to have activities for many ages of people, from infants to high school. So that's really important. So as you look at each one of these things, talk about it among your group and think about all the things that you have to do to make each one of these things happen. Why do you need a water station? Because you get thirsty. And people don't always carry water bottles. You need to have a place for recycling all those bottles once somebody drinks them. You know, these are all many very important things, and you can download the tip sheets from nlci.org.
Okay, let's look at a couple of these up close. Say we're planning a children's parade. What are the things we have to think about? Well, where does it start? Where does it end? Okay, if it's just going to be from the school to the playground, you know, from the front of the school around to the back to the playground, that's one thing. But if I'm going to go from the church to the park down the street, or like we're doing here, the church to the Plaza Guadalupe, you know, do we have to close the street? What does that mean? Do I have to get permits? Do I have to get police? Do I have to, you know, all of a sudden this little park, I mean, this little parade gets really bigger. What's the theme? Are we going to restrict the ages? We're going to let everybody ride in this thing? Can they come on skates, on skateboards and bicycles? Do they have to walk? Can we bring strollers? You know, so all of a sudden, all of these things, is there going to be music? Are there going to be banners? Are there going to be flags? Are they going to be waving sticks with ribbons? You know, all of these things start coming up on what you're going to do. So each of the activities, you're going to find tip sheets that you can download that are going to have all of this background information. Opening ceremony. So the opening ceremony is the most magical part of the festival, I believe. It starts normally with the children coming down the street in a parade, having a banner and carrying streamers and whatever, and it's usually like a block long. They just go from the entrance to the stage area. Once you reach the stage, you'll have people there to greet them. One year we had a rabbi, an imam, and a priest do a welcome and a blessing for the children. It was so moving because they talked about the great opportunities for each child in the future. And it was spiritual, it was not religious, it was spiritual. And it was a very nice way to begin the day of festival and blessing everyone to have a good time, to be safe, and to enjoy their day. So then from that, you go to the reading of the proclamation or the resolution that comes from your city, your state, or you can read the one from the federal government, because we have passed resolutions at the federal level for 19 years already. The U.S. Senate has declared Dia de los Niños, celebrating young Americans, as an American commemorative holiday. So that's really, really exciting when you have a congressman or a senator read your proclamation. Then we always have entertainment. This is an image of Jose Luis Orozco with children here in San Antonio at Mission San Jose, and they're having the most wonderful time because that's part of a festival, is the entertainment. But it's not like a rock band. It's children's entertainment, because that's what we're looking for in a day like this. So then you have to consider that you might want to have a piñata, how you're going to set up your stage, what kind of sound system you want, how you're going to decorate, and even if you have a stage manager who's going to tell everybody, it's your Ballet Folklorico's turn to get on, get the next group ready, we need the mariachis here in 5 minutes. These are all things that are part of organizing and planning an event. Okay, let's talk about some specific children's activities. What are some of the things that the children can become involved in specifically? You saw the Milagros. We've talked about how important the Milagros are. Collect all of those things and find out what the issues are for your community, and keep that in mind as you're going along.
And by the way, go back a little bit.
Okay.
How you display the Milagros is really important because you want it to be safe and you don't want it to fall over. In this case, we used commercial store grids and we linked them together, we screwed them together, and they're 4 little towers with bars that go across holding them in place. And the reason this is really solid is because they're very durable, and we used them year after year after year. But you can also build a tower out of PVC pipe or many other things. Whatever you decide to use as a display for your milagros, make sure that it's secure and won't fall over, because we have seen that happen at some events. After 20 years, we've learned all the tricks. So we use ribbons usually to decorate, and we use smaller, tiny little curling ribbon to tie the milagros onto the...
When you make your milagro outside, you're going to
You'll see how it's done,
okay?
yes.
Now, we also always love to have a literacy tent. Now, we call this el encanto del cuento. Now, here you want to, how many of you are teachers? No? Okay.
Parents.
All right. But it's important for children to go through the phases of literacy: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And at the literacy tent, they're going to be listening to storytellers telling stories. They're going to be listening to people reading books to them and stories to them. They're going to be able to go to the oral history section. This is really exciting, because here they're going to become interviewers. The children will become the interviewers to work with whoever they're going to interview, the interviewee.
Are you going to interview me?
And I'm going to interview my mom, okay?
And you're going to use your phone.
And I'm going to use my phone, and I'm going to say, Mom, how did you and Daddy meet?
Oh, I had never thought about that. Why do you want to know?
Okay.
And then the stories.
Why did you decide to get married?
Oh, because we loved each other.
And then when was I born? No. No, but the stories come out. You know, go to your abuelita and say, Abuelita, who taught you how to make that calabaza con pollo that's so good? You know, or you can go to your tia and say, Tia, when's the next time you're going to come to my house and we're going to play with the valeros? I like to play with the valeros. You know, or maybe it's you're going to interview your teacher. But anyway, they get a list of questions.
Interview the mayor who's going to come to your festival.
They list their put their interview questions on. They learn how to do an interview. They learn how to ask questions. How to use a digital tool. And then, so now they've got this history. Maybe they took a few pictures with abuela or with their tia or whoever, and they've got pictures now. You can download those, move on to what we call the storybooking, and that's where they can take the story. You know, you have pictures, and maybe you write down, this is tia whatever, and this is Tio so-and-so, and this is in 1948 when they came to the San Antonio Zoo. Okay, fine. All right, but there's no story. You don't know what happened there. So this will give them the opportunity in storybooking to make a story around, here's your mom and daddy when they got married, but now you know where they met and how they met and when they got married, and now you've made a story. You've made a book. Sandra Cisneros says if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. So you have to put this down so that these histories stay alive. Then we also have a place where we're going to be teching it up. We have some women who have decided they're going to bring iPads to the session that we're going to do here, the festival we're going to do here, and they're going to give children the opportunity. You tell them about it. The iPad.
Okay, so we're going to interview with the iPhone, and then they're going to take the information and go to a tech corner, and they're going to be able to create a little mini movie with their iPhone and then upload it. So they'll be able to tell the stories of the dog that got out in front of the neighbor's house and how he got chased by a cat instead of him chasing the cat, whatever story they invented. And they will have a taste of what it is to use digital instruments to create their own information system. This is critical for our future. I don't think that any career in the future can happen without some kind of digital support system. So be thinking about that. It's going to be great fun, and they're going to have an opportunity to do many, many things with that. Let's go on to some of the others.
The field games. This has happened, you know, when they have their school field day, these are fun things that they do. You're going to see your races, you're going to see your jump rope, you're going to see the hula hoops, you're going to have a parachute with a big beach ball that they're bouncing around. They're going to have maybe a bicycle rodeo, they'll have obstacle courses, lots of opportunities to play outside and do active things, okay? But they're also going to have arts and crafts. And this is especially where the cultural connection comes in, because you want them to have that tie back to our culture and what is it that makes it so special. So they're going to make tissue paper flowers. Are those a big deal? Do we see those everywhere?
You see them
everywhere.
you see them on the back of a wedding
quinceañera,
parade. And
the quinceañera cars.
Yeah, the quinceañera
so they
cars.
know those, but then they're going to go over to maybe the make a hat section. There's going to you saw that slide earlier of the little kid wearing that big hat. Maybe they decorate that with flowers. They're going to do face painting. They're going to be stringing beads. They're going to be using papel picado. They're going to learn how to make papel picado. Another thing that they see all over the place. All of these artesanías give them that cultural connection.
And it's unending. You could have 500 things. Just depends on how many people you have and how many booths you want to set up for your festival.
And you will have tip sheets on each of these on supplies that are needed and then how to do it. If you don't know what popotillo is, there's a little history, a couple of paragraphs on what popotillo is, the materials you need, and how to do it step by step. So those things you'll see on the tip sheets, okay? There's also going to be an opportunity for the kids to build things. Maybe you can get the guy who has the Lego store over on, what is it, McCullough, or wherever you are.
Whatever city you're in.
Whatever city you're in. Maybe they'll lend you some of the big Legos and you can put them out for the little ones to play with the Legos. Or you can have a Lego table. Or you can have cardboard carpentry, collect a bunch of refrigerator and big cardboard things and let them create a car or a boat. My granddaughter's favorite thing, we got a big old box. I cut one side of it into it, and she now sleeps inside there. She's got a sleeping bag. She doesn't want to sleep in the bed. No, she's going to go take a nap, and she goes in there, and it's like, okay. All right. You know, but they love it. The STEM projects, robotics. The kids are into robotics. Write this down. There's a movie called Spare Parts. If you're not familiar, you know it, okay? It'll make you cry. It'll make you so proud. It's about these kids. Where were they, in Arizona or California?
California.
Okay, anyway, they enter this national robotics contest. And everybody says,
and they didn't have the money.
You're from a little bitty place over here. You're a bunch of Latinos. You can't win no robotics. You know, what are you doing? And so they took them and they got all these spare parts from the weed eater and from car parts and, you know, all these things. And doggone it, if they didn't go and they didn't beat out colleges like Princeton and Harvard, they won. I'm telling you the end, but it's good. Look it up.
It's good.
Spare
It's
parts.
a good movie.
Anyway, kids love to build things, so give them a place to do some building. Board games. You want the parents to sit down for a while, let them play loteria, let them play
but
dominoes.
it's not just for the parents, it's for the kids too.
Make a big checkerboard thing and let the kids jump around and be checkerboards, or have the big frisbee checkers to let them do that. Do a chess tournament, do a dominoes tournament. How many of you play Mexican trained dominoes? You know, all right.
There you go.
Need to
Isn't
come to
that
our house. Music and dance. All right.
This is the most fun.
The music, you know, you start playing a la víbora, víbora de la mar, the kids all of a sudden, it's our London bridges, okay? Ballet folklorico, get an instructor up there to teach, you know, tan 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 tan. Okay, get them to dance, you know, get the mariachi to show the different kinds of instruments they have. Drumming, if you have a cheerleader in your group, let them do a demo. If you have a Zumba dancer, you know, let them do Zumba, let them do exercises. You know, give them the opportunity to come and do stuff on the stage with everybody.
Mary said a really important thing. She said, if the mariachis are there, have them show the instruments. Now you're talking about something more than entertainment. Now you're learning about the different instruments, the bajo sexto, the what's the big one? Guitarrón, the violin, all of them. They're just really tremendous learning opportunities. And I will guarantee you that every one of those members of the mariachi would be thrilled to show off their instrument and tell a child what it is or where it comes from or how to use it.
Get the high school mariachi group. Get the high school folklorico group. Get them to come out and do this with you guys. You can have a talent show. You can have singers and dancers. You know, the little kids, how many of your little kids get up and sing with the TV, with YouTube and everything? Do theatrical performances, do puppet shows, have a poetry slam. Doggone, these kids love it with their rap music. So give them a chance to get up there and do a poetry slam. Science for the little ones. How are we doing for time?
We have 2 minutes left.
Science for the little ones. Talk about recycling. You get here in San Antonio, you get saws to come down and they'll show you how to put a thing in the toilet, and so you can save water, and you know, they'll do all kinds of things with you. You know, a safety zone. The car seat installation, get a
This
fireman.
is an important element. You know, one of the most outrageous statistics in our country is that the #1 cause of death for young Latinos has always been not being buckled up. So if you don't have a car seat, that's a big problem. One year when we couldn't even get parents to be interested in it, and Mary reminded me that we asked Archbishop Flores to come and bless the car seats. He says, what a great idea.
Because everybody said, no, está más seguro conmigo. If
I'm
I
going to
hold
carry
the
my
it's
baby.
better.
And we're like,
It's
your
better.
baby is in danger. It's sitting in the front seat in your
Becomes
lap.
a 200-mile-an-hour torpedo when you step on it.
So we started these car seat installations at our festivals, and they
With
have
the
been
blessing.
a hit. Oh yeah, they always start with a blessing. And then everybody's even holding up their car keys. Bless my car, Padrecito. It's really effective.
You know,
Use it.
you can have a fire truck come and park itself wherever you're doing your day or your festival. How exciting for the kids to be able to climb up and climb around on a fire truck, to see all the different people, to see a fireman all dressed up and up close and personal.
And to learn how to stop, drop, and roll, because those are the things that are so dangerous for children. Is what do they do when there's a fire? They go hide in a closet because they're afraid. But they need to do these things that they can learn.
How do you behave around a canine unit? You know, the dog is there,
Yeah.
but it's very different from when you see a puppy on the street. So this is a safety zone, a family information zone. Where do I go and find out about schools that are available to my very, very little one?
And get a library card. Does everyone have a library card already? If you don't have one, we need to sign you up for one at one of these festivals.
Voter registration.
Now, I think
health
we
insurance.
have learned this month how important it is for teenagers to register to vote, because they are creating a voice for themselves all over the country. And I think it's critical that we remind everyone to get a voter registration card. And then you have to have a support station where somebody can go if they lost something, or where they can go if they bump their knee and they need a Band-Aid.
It gets too hot and I need water. I have to just sit in front of a fan.
And if you do this on a school day and the schools bring their lunches in a nice chest, you need to have a place to store all of the.
Stop.
Trying to stop it. I think our time's up.
All right, let me just, okay, it's over. All right,
It's
you've already
over.
cleaned up. What are the next steps? We have to say thank you to everybody who participated, but we have to start planning for next year. We need to follow up on all of the issues that the children brought up and that we need to consider to continue to address all year long with city council, with the county, with the state, with the federal.
Right.
Anything that comes up, we need to follow up. And then let's start raising money, because next year it's going to be a much bigger thing, because everybody saw how wonderful it was. And if they missed it, they're saying, doggone it, did you see that on Facebook? Well, you're going to go next year. Okay?
Yeah. And so if you want more information about how to start your own El Día de los Niños Celebrating Young Americans, I barely got that out. We've been talking for a long time here. We need you to sign up at www.nlci.org. Download the information. Once you do that, then we're happy to have you use our logo, use the materials that are there, learn how to create a wonderful event, and also learn how to make your community better by creating all the right kinds of answers and solutions and ideas for a better future.
Voices for our children.
Exactly.
And we'd be happy to help in any way we can, so contact Becky or me, and through NLCI and through
us, through NLCI.
Or through IDRA, they know how to get us here in
Right.
San Antonio. We'll be happy to help in any way we can.
So we look forward to seeing you at the next El Día de los Niños celebration. The one in San Antonio will be the national event, because we're celebrating the 20th year. It's April 29th at the Avenida Guadalupe, where our partners, the Avenida Guadalupe. It's at Plaza Guadalupe on a Sunday, the last day of fiesta, an official 300 event from 2 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon. Please be there, join us, celebrate with us El Día de los Niños Celebrating Young Americans. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's good.